Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm your host, Danny Vega, here with my lovable co-host, Sarah. Sarah, what's good?
I met my friend's dog today.
What kind of dog are we
cute.
talking here? What kind of doggy?
I don't know. Some kind of like little lab mix situation. I don't really know because I was just focused on the cute.
I love a good boy. I love a good girl.
She was a very good girl. Lots of energy. Super cute.
Love an energetic dog. Love an affectionate dog. I live now with a Frenchie named Samson. He's I don't know if I'm ready to say he's a damn good boy. He's a good boy. He's a barker. He's a frequent barker. He loves to bark. And what I've learned with Samson is the barking is a way that he gets attention. He wants to play. And after learning that and learning about his personality, you know, I'm trying to cope, but it is annoying because he is a barky freaking boy. And then his owner, who's a great roommate, but she always goes, "Little Bob Barker," and I'm like, yeah, he is Bob Barker. And much like Happy Gilmore, I want to fight him on the green.
I feel like that pun is funny the first time, and then when it's like 3 a.m, you're like, yeah. I don't want to hear about Bob Barker.
Right. I'm ready to burn a set of The Price is Right. That's how. Folks, here's a little update for you. Got some juice for you. I did ask a girl to be my girlfriend. She did say yes. And I know what a lot of you are asking. Danny, did you use a cake? Yes, I used a cake. I don't know how you know that.
How did you get that idea to use a cake?
She loves cake. She loves sheet cake. And I had to go on a cake adventure.
Why?
I don't know why. Every time I want something now in coronavirus, it's an adventure. First, I wanted to build my computer, and then the graphics card kept breaking, and then I wanted a bike, and I had to go to 5 bike stores. And then all I wanted, Sarah, was a simple grocery store sheet cake. I went to 2 grocery stores, and they had no such sheet cake.
What? I'm actually really surprised.
So then I went into Martha's Country Bakery, which is a pseudo chain. So you're a fan,
they have one
but
right by me, like next door.
It's got a great look. And but here's the thing, my girlfriend has specifically instructed me, and she's not a very specific gal, you know, she's not very picky, but she specifically said she does not like Martha's Country Bakery.
Are you fucking kidding? What? First of all, why? I don't know. I think you should dump her.
I don't know.
I don't understand. Grocery store sheet cake is fine, but Martha's isn't?
I don't know, Sarah. I don't ask these questions. I said, okay.
You need to ask important questions.
Well, get ready for this. Then I go to Martha's Country Bakery and I go, I'm trying to get this girl a sheet cake. She loves a sheet cake, chocolate cake with buttercream. And they go, we can do that. Our sheet cakes start at $75. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, it does feed 105. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I don't need, what is this? Or is this a sheet? Is this a cake field? Yeah, but that's what a sheet
cake is. It's like a gigantic ass pan that feeds like my sorority. And I know that because I had to get one time.
Were you in a sorority this whole time? Okay, that makes so much sense now. It just clicked who you are.
Why?
You're a sorostitute?
I am a former.
So then I'm like, I need this sheet cake. And they go, did you know that a sheet cake is not a type of cake?
Ha.
They go, that's just a shape of cake. And I'm like, now that is some crazy shit. That is some crazy shit.
What?
I thought a sheet cake was a type of cake. I didn't realize because I'm trying to get her
just a regular
sponge cake, a chocolate sponge cake. Yeah, and a sheet cake is just a shape. So anyway, I end up calling Churko's Bakery, which is a classic bakery in Brooklyn. It's very famous. It's popular here. And so I got the old Churko's. Here's the interesting thing. I said to them, you can write 2 things, because I assumed, you can't put a lot of characters on a cake. Well, you can't write a letter on the cake. So I wrote, will you be my GF? Or will you be my GF with the U spelled out, YOU.
2 starkly different options.
A few characters. character difference. And these little cake scientists, these little cake Picassos over at Churko's, they somehow managed to cram "Will you be my girlfriend" on this cake.
Like full girlfriend, not even GF?
Full girlfriend, not even GF. I go, where did you go to cake school? This is incredible. And she loves icing, this girl, and they just, they put on so much icing they put on a tremendous rows of icing, and frankly, it was a little disgusting. I actually did not. The cake was filled with 2 layers of pudding, like a vanilla pudding and a chocolate pudding. And it was not the cake for me, but she said yes to the cake. So now I have a girlfriend, and her name's Hannah Boone.
Ooh.
And
was it less than $75?
It was. It was.
Good.
Yeah, it was $50, and it was mainly like I was willing to spend $75. I just didn't want like
you don't
square
need
feet
that much cake.
of cake.
Also, wait, $75 to feed 100 people with a sheet cake is actually really cheap.
No, it was. It was like a reasonable deal. It was. I may not have been 100 people. I might have been exaggerating, but it was a lot.
Maybe
And
like 10.
so anyway, so I just said my girlfriend's name, you guys, and it's interesting because I wasn't necessarily gonna publicize it. I have a paranoia, and actually, I want to see what you say about this, Sarah.
Let's go.
Well, I'm worried about hurting my ex,
That's fair.
But I've been talking about it, but I don't want to post on Instagram because I know a lot of her friends follow me on there, and I still see that they watch my stories, and I'm like, I just feel like it's going to really devastate her to learn I have, a girlfriend. And we were together 5 years, and there's no need for me to post it. So I'm like, there's really obviously I want to tell everyone. So where are you on that, Sarah? Do I have a duty? I mean, I'm saying it on the podcast, but I feel like her friends aren't going to listen to my fucking podcast. I doubt it.
It's funny because I earlier today future predicted that we would have this exact conversation.
Look at you.
So I have thought about it.
Sarah the Prophet.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
we go.
Oh yeah. I will read your fortune for $5. Just kidding. It's only one White Claw. So here's my take. She's gonna find out eventually. I mean, if I were her, I can't imagine her not being hurt by it. If I were her, I certainly would be. That said, that doesn't mean you should feel an obligation to hide your life.
Right.
My verdict, I suppose, is no assholes here.
Okay.
I mean, I think she's going to find out sooner or later. Maybe just make a close friends list on Instagram and hide her friends from it.
I like that. I haven't thought about the old close friends feature. Well, here's the kicker, people. So in the meantime, I'm working it out with her. And by the way, she's the comedian whose tweet went viral because we were hanging out when her tweet went viral.
About the reply guys?
Yeah, exactly. Where she marries the reply guys. Great tweet.
Wait,
hot
so
tweet.
You were the reply guy.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Enough. So anyway, well, here's the kicker, folks. So the thing about it is I'm on the old internet yesterday, and I get a message.
Ye old internet.
Ye old internet, eh? And I get a message from a rando, which happens every now and again. And this rando just goes, "Hey, congrats on the new girlfriend." And I was like, okay, look at this. And am I the asshole listener? They're catching the thread. And I had said in the last episode, that on Sunday or Saturday or whatever, I was going to ask her to be my girlfriend. So I go, look at that. And then they go, yeah, you and Hannah, huh? And I was like, whoa, that's a little weird. How do they know her name? I know I didn't say her name on the pod. And, and then they go, yeah, I heard it on Keith and the Girl. And I'm like, what? Fucking Keith put my relationship out before me?
How did he even know?
He knew because Hannah posted the cake on her Insta story.
Okay.
And so the thing about it is that Keith now thinks he's a prophet because Hannah recorded an episode of Keith and the Girl at my house, and I was helping her set up, the audio equipment. I'm the tech guy. And they saw her, and we were both doing the same concept of an episode, which is coronavirus breakups. And so Keith goes, what's this? What's this? And she's like, oh, I'm just, recording. And at that point we weren't hooking up or anything. So it was just funny because then they wrote in their episode description, they called us out and they go, we knew that they were in a relationship before they did. Keith and the Girl, great pod. They're taking my news from me. They stole the lead. I let them break my story.
So random that they talked about that. I don't know. To me, that's just so random because neither of you were on the podcast at the time They were like, oh, let's just talk about our friend. He's not here right now, but like.
The newsiness of it is that we were both coronavirus breakups on their show in that capacity, and now we're a couple. I think that was why,
Okay.
they felt
Truthfully, I
obligated
just
to report.
skipped to the part where they were talking about you. So that context makes a lot of sense.
Bottom line, I am going to sue the shit out of Keith O'Malley. That's his name is Keith Malley, but I like to call him Keith O'Malley. I'm gonna sue his ass. I'm sick of his shit. Now we love Keith and the girl. Give it a listen. They're legends and they're excellent people. And people love Keith, but he has a big ego, so I try not to say that. But people love Hemda. People have reached out to me and they're like, "Bring Hemda. We got to have Hemda back on."
Yes.
And Keith,
but only if they do more psychic predictions about you.
Yeah, they're going to keep nailing them. Guys, big ups to our new Patreon member, our new Judge Judy, Victoria. Thanks for joining the crew. This is a gentle reminder. Please, guys, it helps out the pod so much. If you can rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, we really appreciate it. It takes, I don't even think it takes 30 seconds, Sarah. What does it take? 5 seconds? It's so short. It's so fast.
If you want to write a fancy review, that'll take longer, but I feel like that's a kind of buyer beware situation. Otherwise, maybe 30 seconds.
And also, if you're going, you know what, I could use more AITA pod in my life and I want to support old Danny and Sarah over here. We got everything's old now because everything is old and the coronavirus has aged us all 400 years. Please support us on Patreon. We love our Patreon community. I mean, we love our whole community. It does take a good amount of effort. For the record, I've lost a lot of money producing this podcast between the fees of putting it out. You get it. I'm not trying to, I don't need to go into my totally sob story. I'm just telling you that it does take a lot of effort and we really appreciate your support. And that's it. That's all I'm saying. We love to hear from you either way. And by the way, you can also support the podcast by submitting. We love your submissions. We love your comments. Even when you're like, Danny is an asshole and I hate what Danny said. I hate what I said too, by the way. Did you think of that? Then maybe I already hate it. So you need to let me know so we can both hate me in the past together. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. And I know it's time now for some Guess the Verdict. Let's get this show on the road. AITA for not saying anything about the underwear.
What the? This is so fucking vague. What could this possibly be? See, now I'm really future predicting and I'm trying to play psychic. Nothing about the underwear. That kind of reminds me of the fight that the dad had with the people. And we all said that he was the asshole. So I'm going to go with YTA.
YTA is correct. And in fact, this was that very situation. I was hoping you had forgotten it, but you did not. You solved. Top Reddit comment goes to whomst_JPEG. They said, you might be the asshole, but I am living for it, which is pretty much what we said because we all kind of love this dad.
Okay, I love that. All right. AITA for buying a car for myself from my daughter's college fund.
Tough. We run into these a lot, but I kind of feel like daughter did something fucked up, as usually is the case with these things. So I'm going to go ahead and go not the asshole, and the daughter is.
Wow, you are correct.
What did she do?
So the OP divorced from his ex after he caught her cheating, and then she married that guy. The daughter chose to live with her mom, and OP allegedly tried to keep in contact with his daughter, but he kept getting shot down. OP offered her also the college fund when she turned 18, but apparently she said no. And then the stepdad was paying for her education, but he lost his job. The daughter reached out to OP to ask him to pay. OP said no because he spent it on a car. And also apparently the daughter already has a degree. So the top verdict was, in fact, NTA.
And what did they say? Just NTA because she already has a degree?
NTA, she already has a degree. You tried to reach out to her a bunch of times. She refused it at first.
Seems reasonable to me. But here's a question for you, Sarah. AITA for suing my ex.
I would say usually NTA. I'm just going to go with my first choice. NTA, final answer.
Wow, Sarah, you're on some kind of roll today. Whoa. NTA is correct. Now, this is a veritable orange because it is filled with juice.
Oh, my God.
Opening line of this story, so I dated a YouTuber. Whew.
Oh, no.
Would love to read it, people. So basically the story is that OP felt neglected by said YouTuber. They break up with the YouTuber. And the YouTuber then makes a video about them claiming that they're emotionally abusive. And they got messages from strangers telling me how awful a person I was. So OP faced, between a rock and a hard place, getting harassed for this, sues the YouTuber, ruins them, puts them in a financial bad spot. And I guess the case dragged. Top Reddit comment, NazXX writes, NTA actions have consequences. Her quote-unquote content could have ruined your life. But nobody thinks about that, huh?
That's interesting because I'm assuming that he sued her for defamation or some sort of libel, but I don't know how you prove that you are not emotionally abusive. That seems really difficult.
Well, I think that they probably didn't even do it to, win the case necessarily, so they could just kind of go at it, and the idea being more like, you're going to get financially fucked by this.
AITA for forcing my tomboy daughter to wear formal clothing.
Formal clothing? I mean, that doesn't seem like such a sin. There's a time and a place. But wait, maybe it was gendered formal clothing? I'm going to go with my gut and just go YTA on this.
Ooh, you were on the right track, but you're wrong. The top comment was NTA. Basically, OP's daughter is a tomboy. They were going to a big traditional Indian wedding. The daughter wanted to wear a t-shirt and jeans. OP said, you have to wear something formal, even if it's a suit. I'll take you to go get whatever type of clothing that you want. And the OP is like, you're limiting my freedom of expression or something like that. Yes, so not the asshole.
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm actually happy I'm wrong because at least mom was progressive. She's like, yeah, you got to be formal. If you want to go as a boy, go as a boy. I don't give a shit. You just got to look good.
Yeah, you just have to be formal. You can still be non-conforming, but you can't wear a t-shirt to a black tie wedding.
Absolutely not. Come on, people. There's a time for formality, and well, before I go into this screed, I will say Sarah definitely beating me again. It looks like the tables have turned. I believe that's 2 guess the verdicts in a row.
Woo.
I have been dethroned. But I got a girlfriend and Sarah will be single forever. So,
that is
wow.
objectively true.
It's not true, Sarah. It's coming for you. Don't you worry.
I actually rejected someone yesterday because we matched on Hinge. We had good banter. But then, I've actually been feeling like the fuckboys are trying to meet up even faster than they would pre-corona times.
Oh my God.
And it's kind of insane to me because I'm just like, the risks are so much greater now. And so, I was chatting with this guy. He asked me on Hinge if I wanted to get a drink. I kind of ignored it. I gave him my number. At midnight on Sunday, he texted me and asked if I wanted to get a drink, quote, tomorrow. And I was like, well, is it tomorrow? Is it today? Either way, it's a Monday. And no, I'm not doing that. And then he asked me, and then, we chatted a bit. He asked me again yesterday. And I was like, look, you know what? I don't want to just stop responding because that seems rude. And I'm sorry if this is harsh. But I'm gonna, I don't know. I think I said I'm gonna politely decline. I'm not getting good vibes or something like that. I don't know.
So I don't understand. What's your problem with this individual? That he moved too fast?
Yeah, I don't trust anyone who is trying to meet up this quickly, especially in a pandemic.
I got to push back here, Sarah. I think you might have shut down a good egg. So don't meet up. Feel him out. No. Keep talking. Why can't you?
Because both times he asked me to get a drink, it was either midnight or 11 p.m. And I just, I don't think that anyone who, again, I really don't think anyone who's trying to meet up so quickly has any sort of good motivations. It's I get it. You haven't had sex in 6 months and you're trying to get it in. And then on top of that, those requests coming at night, I was just no, this is not, no.
Okay, no, that's valid. I mean, you got let's meet up at 11 is a little shady. I mean, yeah, no, I can see how that's a red flag there. I'm on board.
Woo!
All right, guys, well, we got one heck of an ep for you today. Our second story of the day, AITA for telling my girlfriend's mom that if she were my age, I wouldn't date her.
Oh, boy.
Whoa. But first, AITA for asking my husband to turn down his dream job for my career. I, 33F, am the breadwinner of our household. I have multiple highly specialized degrees for a niche industry. I make $200K plus, I'm guessing that's dollars, with potential to get in the 600 to millions range.
Ooh.
My company has not been hit that badly by COVID, so most of us kept our jobs, but were held to strict standards. My husband, 36M, has broad work experience. He quit his job right before COVID hit, hoping for a better job in the meantime, and I was supportive. He spent a ton of time applying to various jobs and finally landed an interview at Organization X. This is his dream job in almost every imaginable way. It pays 65 grand a year, which will be fine, except this job directly puts my job at risk. You see, my company and this organization are competitors. If clients discovered my spouse was working for them, I would be tainted. I wouldn't be able to get a job in the industry again. No exaggeration. I asked him to stop considering this job, since if he got it, we'd lose my income. 65K a year cannot support us in the city. Plus, he doesn't have to work for this organization. Even if the job market is awful right now, his background gives him access to a wide range of jobs, but I only have this one niche field. He was extremely angry and said I was, quote, selfish and only cared about money, unquote. I told him that if he wanted to go back to school for an advanced degree or just be unemployed for a while, I would support him, but taking this job isn't possible. He continued the process behind my back and got the offer. He wants to accept it because he says this career needs to take priority and that I wasn't being a supportive wife. I feel so betrayed, and I've contacted all relevant higher-ups in my company to inform them. I notified them as soon as he got the interview because it's better coming from my email than from a background check. I told him he could decline the offer with me watching him decline it, or he could accept the offer and move out immediately. I'd pay for him to stay 2 weeks at a hotel, and we'd begin divorce proceedings. My company is willing to take care of all of my legal fees. I feel awful. I still love him. I moved decisively because this is the best way to cut my losses, but it still hurts. He called me heartless and cold. It's true that I was prioritizing my career over his, but it felt like the only option at the time. AITA.
Excellent job with that dramatic reading.
Thank you. I've been practicing in the mirror.
I want to know what these people do. I'm imagining like The Incredibles, like Mr. and Mrs. Incredible.
Why is he Mr. Incredible? I mean, he makes 65 grand a year. He could do anything. I don't know.
I'm
That's
not
just
how the movie is set up.
Well, I mean, I think she obviously works in tech. I mean, what else would this be? Why would she need multiple highly specialized degrees? So it's not a doctor. It's not a lawyer.
I was like, does the CIA pay that much? Okay. I have no...
I see a lot of myself in this situation, because this was my old situation. My ex was the breadwinner and she made big buku bucks. And, I was the guy making 65K a year or whatever, generally speaking. And, if this conflict came between us, it wouldn't be a problem for me.
Right. I mean, also,
at
you
first
weren't
glance.
trying to work for her like only competitor.
No, well, Sarah, I'm saying if I was in this situation, at first glance, I would be like, well, this is no problem. I'll simply not take the job.
But second glance...
At second glance, I start to think about where I was in 2019. It's funny now because the world is on its head. Everyone's unemployed. Everyone has unemployment problems. Well, this was my 2019, so I'm there with you people. I was unemployed I was ahead of the curve. Exactly. I was unemployed and fearing, coronavirus in 2019. I was early. And
it's true. Oh my God. I feel like we could go back to our old episodes, and I'm sure none of my comments have aged well at all because you were like probably in December. Sarah, there's this virus and it's going to be a big deal. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's all the way in China. This is not going to happen to us.
That's what a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought, oh, it's in China. But anyway, my point here is that this situation is quite gnarly because here's the thing about dream jobs. And I'm gonna press myself into this, but she said a dream job, and that can manifest in a lot of different ways. Obviously, it's not money because, for a 36-year-old to be making 65 grand is clearly not amazing. It's not bad at all. It's fine. It's a totally livable amount of money. I mean, even a good amount of money depending on where you live. She specifically says they live in an expensive city. I'll say that 65 grand in New York is not bad, but it's not like you're balling out.
It's not bad. It's livable, but especially if you're expecting two people to live off that, I don't think a lot.
No, forget about it. Two people, no way.
Forget about it.
That's getting tight. That's getting you guys share a bedroom and you have two roommates. That's a little crazy. So, but here's the thing about jobs is that it can be, they're both in very dangerous territory in my view because it's a little bit delusional of him and a little bit rude of him. And I don't like how he's done this. He's gone behind her back and he basically hasn't taken ownership of what this means. You know, I trust her on her word that this is going to essentially ruin her career. So really, it's not an option for her. She has invested a tremendous amount of time, money, resources into, you know, obtaining these degrees. She is the breadwinner. She's the moneymaker. It's a no-brainer. He could literally not work. And this is something that she is sort of offering. And here's the kicker, Sarah. This is the insight.
Yes.
We've talked about this a lot, and I think I brought you on board for it for the most part. Men who are unable to earn money and unable to provide in any way is very destructive for us, and it's not pleasant for women either, but I think because of stereotypically in society, men are expected to provide. It's a little bit maybe extra tough for men.
I agree. I mean, I think it's just a part of, it's like another extension of the patriarchy is like this ideal that men are supposed to provide. So it does hit them extra hard when they get laid off or lose their job or don't feel fulfilled in their careers. And I don't feel like that's sexist to say.
Exactly. And that's why I don't love her solutions necessarily, because I'm sort of, I'm kind of like pushing my own view of what a dream job would look like, which would be a creative job, which is, you know, very similar to the job I have. I mean, I have a dream job as far as I'm concerned. I'm able to be creative in what I do, and that's what I want to do. But the options that she pushes here are go to school for an advanced degree or just be unemployed for a while. So I don't know that she fully understands this. That doesn't make her an asshole. I'm just saying I don't know that she fully grasps the problem or fully understands what he's giving up. That doesn't make what he's doing okay. But I just wanted to make that point.
I mean, I get it, but also like realistically, what other solutions are there? Like he can apply for other jobs, but he will functionally be unemployed during that time.
Well, I guess the other option would be to say, like, I'll pay you to essentially do this job on your own, to start your own things. I will personally bankroll you because you're giving up a job that might be very difficult to get. That's the other thing. Dream jobs do not come around every year. They don't.
I guess
they're dream jobs.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm also wondering, like, what type of relationship they have where, like, his dream job is her only competitor. Like, you've never talked about this before? Not her only competitor, but, like, a serious competitor.
You're on point. Well, I think you're on point, though. I think we're talking about two major corporations, right? So let's just say she works at Uber, and she's, like, head of networking data computer, and he wants to work at Lyft because he got that clutch-ass, like, marketing department job where he gets to be creative, and that's what he wants to do, something like that.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, why is your dream job at your wife's competitor?
Because
and can
it
you
is,
find
Sarah.
that role elsewhere? Well,
but there might not be that role. That's the point. It's a dream job. It's rare. Dream jobs are rare. You have some people's dream jobs. It's very difficult to get.
Yeah, I get that. But I wouldn't go, like, for me, I wouldn't be dating the CEO of Barstool, and like I would know that going in.
I see kind of what you're getting at. I mean, maybe, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, why would he even apply there when he's kind of going through the process? Is he just a dumbass?
I have no idea.
Like, oh, I guess this will be fine.
Or is he sabotaging on purpose? Like, I have no idea.
I guess that's a little weird. I mean, I can give him the benefit of the doubt and just, whatever. He stumbled onto it. A recruiter reached out, something like that. I mean, look, if these two people really love each other, to me, there is an option here. And she hasn't said exactly what I wanted her to say, but I don't think she's being an asshole. I think he's being an asshole because the reality is that the bread is important. Yeah. There's a reason the phrase breadwinner exists, and then the stereotype is that a woman steals bread to feed her children because bread is key to the household.
What?
We need bread.
What stereotype is that?
You don't know stealing bread to feed your kids?
I mean, I've seen Les Mis, but that was a man.
Yeah, you steal bread. I don't know why that is. You steal bread to feed kids.
Of like the women stealing bread?
I always pictured a woman doing it, but I guess, you know what? I think I got this from, AOC recently said it. She said AOC defends rise in NYC crime, saying people are, quote, stealing bread to feed their children. So the trope is that people steal a loaf of bread to feed their kids. I don't know why it's the trope, but I'm telling you, there's something about bread winning. Bread. We need bread.
Listen, we love bread. We love a carb.
We love a carb, but I guess, too, they also say money is cheese. They go, give me my cheese, so cheese, bread. I guess all the staples kind of come back to money.
It's all pizza. Time is money. Money is pizza. Pizza's knowledge. Let's go.
For me, the issue here is that this couple is been put in a really tough position. And I think the only solution is for him to turn down this job and for her to essentially bankroll him for a long time, because I maintain that a dream job, and I'm taking her on her word that it is a dream job, exactly what he wants to do, is not a once a year kind of thing. It might not even be a once every 5 year kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's making a huge sacrifice.
I mean, this is a decent compromise. It unfortunately seems like they're way past that. So if only they had submitted this earlier so they could get your wise words of wisdom.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think she fully internalized, though. I don't think her options are quite reflective of what I want to hear, because for her to suggest that just being unemployed is nice really fails to understand. And I think this actually goes back to a kind of a myth that I think a lot of people believe, which is that it's somehow pleasurable or nice to not have a job, or that it's, that unemployment is vacation. But like the reality is that for most people, I'm definitely one of them, when I was unemployed, I had all the time in the world, and I don't think I've had an unhappier year. I mean, I was absolutely miserable in 2019. I mean, I did put a lot of focus into this podcast. But
Woo.
Outside of that, I was very miserable. So what I'm trying to say is that her options of go back to school for an advanced degree, which is like a totally different thing, which to me says that she's still oriented about him earning more money, or to be unemployed, those are not replacements for a dream job. So she hasn't fully internalized what he's giving up, because a job shapes you and it makes you better, hopefully.
I totally agree with what you're saying. I kind of read this a bit more casually, as in like just be unemployed for a while and continue to apply to other jobs. But either way, I mean, it seems like she went nuclear because he just wouldn't accept how big of a betrayal this is. And it's like, it's not worth. It's also like his dream job, yeah, versus her entire (parentheses dream) career. You're talking lifetime earning potential.
Yeah, but you're putting words in her mouth, and that's what this is coming in. That's what this is coming back to. That's what this is coming back to, Sarah. Because you know what she never says? She never says that she has her dream career, and that is why, again, I see a lot of myself in this situation. Because my ex, who was the breadwinner, would never describe her job in these terms, and there are many people who do their job for practical reasons, right? They want the money, and that's why she's there, and that's great. And a couple has to make money, and a family system has to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that is what I'm trying to say, that she was unable to reckon with, and that is why he comes to her with this accusation that she's, quote, selfish and only cared about money. And that's also why I don't like her, that her options are go to school and get more educated or just be unemployed, because she is failing to realize that the job means more than the money. It's not even necessarily about the money. Of course, you need money, but it's about the job. He wants the job, right? School is not the job. School is a means to make more money.
Projecting a bit, but I get what you're saying.
Well, but that's what this is coming from, right? Because none of what she's saying has anything to do with her having her dream job. She doesn't have her dream job. She has a job that's highly lucrative and practical, which is great. But I think this couple
maybe she just doesn't slaving away just for the money, but maybe she enjoys it, but like that's not her whole life.
No, she's not slaving away. I think she probably has a comfortable job, but she just doesn't care about her job. It's not her, it's not her fucking joie de vivre. It's not her, raison d'etre. It's her fucking $200,000 a year job where she's going to make $1 million. And there's a reason that she started off with that, because that's what her job is to her, which there's nothing wrong with. But I see a big gap in values here. And I see an inability for her to recognize that what she's taking away from him, which is a lot more than just money. The job is not about the money for him.
I mean, they're both taking a lot away from each other. So yeah,
100%,
like he's also not
100%.
recognizing that he's taking away like her earning potential, and also like all of this specialized training that she got that's effectively like useless if she gets blacklisted from this field.
What he's doing is straight up terrorism, straight up. And I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to say, I don't even know that this situation was ever escapable for these two, because I think they're in a really tough situation, and I see a tremendous difference of values here. Is it surmountable? Theoretically, but when a dream job is at stake, I'm almost ready to say he made the right decision, because it seems like they really don't agree on what's important, and a dream job is can be a very precious thing.
I mean, it's like, you know, your vows are for richer, for poorer, and like they both were ready to just kind of cut and run at this point. So I don't, maybe it is for the best.
Maybe it is. Kimberly M says, NTA, you've each built your lives around this. For him to flip everything on its head is horrible. Ben C says, ESH or NAH, I guess. You're both prioritizing your careers over your marriage. I think that ultimately is true. I do think what he's doing and the way that this has gone down makes me not like him a little more, because I see deceit here. I see a lack of ownership here. I see him not basically, like, it doesn't seem to me like he's really internalize the fact that this is going to force her into a position where she has to do this. And I don't like that. I find that cowardly.
I feel like he tried to call her bluff and it didn't play out.
It didn't play out. I mean, she's a career woman. She knows what she wants, and he's a coward. He did need to say, like, hey, I you know what? I know what this is. I need this job. I truly think this job is very valuable to me, and I'm willing to give you up for it. And that takes balls to admit.
Yeah. I also feel like, I don't know, it's like he quit his job right before COVID because he just had a job and was hoping for a better one. And that's cool, but then it's just like, I just don't like that either.
That does make it a little bit suspect, you know, and we don't know, you know, what is dream job. I'm taking her on her word that it's literally a dream job.
Yeah. I guess I'm just like, if you felt like you were in an okay position to be like unemployed, where you just kind of were in a sort of grass is greener mentality, like you had a job, but you just wanted a better one, like that's cool. But then this is a real, like, serious reason to perhaps continue searching for jobs for a little while, and he doesn't want to do it. So I don't know.
Well, you know, I think a dream job can be unexpected too. You know, you might have been working a job that you kind of liked. I worked a lot of jobs that I kind of liked. And I think one of the shocking things about where I work now is, you know, that I love it. And I didn't know that it would play out that way, because I didn't really know exactly what I wanted or what. Because here's the thing, you know, what do I do? Well, I make videos about cryptocurrency, but I get to be funny in the videos. And it turns out that that was the best case scenario for me, because, yeah, cryptocurrency is hard and I got to learn like financy stuff, but I get to be creative and I have creative control. So it's sort of like you can stumble into something that's really good for you. I guess, see, but now what I'm thinking is I didn't even know that when I took the job. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what the job is. So I didn't know I was getting my dream job. Hannah S writes, my gut reaction leans towards YTA because your husband's career is just as important as yours. Your specialized degrees don't make you any more important than him. Leaning toward ESH, you have a bit of a snooty attitude about it that I don't care for. I'm not a fan of this comment. I don't find OP snooty. I find OP to, you know, be a career woman type. She knows what she wants. She knows what she's getting. She wants her career. She's definitely on the practical side. I see a lot of practicality here. I don't think there's nothing snooty about it. She went to school. She got the fucking degrees. There's nothing snooty about it. I got no problem with her.
I do want to say for all the women that Danny wrote that if this was a man, no one would be calling him snooty. And that is exactly right. And so I do want to commend you for that realization.
Yeah, people don't like a powerful woman. I don't know what it is. They're afraid.
We did it, guys.
No, she's not snooty. There's no way. Now Eva M here says, NTA, he disrupted your career on purpose. The divorce is long due. I'm pseudo on board for this. I think it's a possibility, but it's not guaranteed. There's recruiters there, you know, it could have slipped his mind. I mean, we don't really necessarily know, because we could be talking about big complex companies that don't necessarily compete directly. And OP never indicts him for applying. She just comes at him once he's kind of involved. So I don't know that it was necessarily intentional. I'm not necessarily getting that from the story.
We don't even know if she knew when he applied.
Yeah, it cuts to when she's already involved, and that's when it becomes an issue. So I don't think we need to say, oh, well, he did it on purpose. I mean, he did a lot on purpose, but not necessarily got it on purpose. Taylor A writes, quote, it's true that I was prioritizing my career over his, unquote. No, it's true you're prioritizing your career over your marriage. It's a career. It's a means of income. Marriage should mean more to people than that. For better or for worse, for richer or poorer, Catalina P, NTA, he purposely disregarded you and how you feel. He disrespected you by working for a rival company when you're supporting him. You gave your options, even some that can be better than this job. No, that's not true, Catalina. And he still can't see what's wrong with it. Tough sitch. Firm campaign 8221 getting the top Reddit comment. NTA, some are saying you've decided your job is more important than your hubby's. They're ignoring that he seems to have decided a job offer is more important than your career. If she doesn't trust someone who's willing to destroy her entire career for a single job, I don't blame her. Men aren't usually the spouse making career sacrifices for the greater good of the couple. That could be something he's struggling with. I like the insight there. I think that's got some legs.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with a single point in there.
I really, part of me does want to, no assholes, hear this. But in the end, I don't, you know what? Here's the thing, Sarah. If he said, listen, Candace,
it's always Candace.
I got my dream job, and it really truly is my dream job, and I know it's a threat to you, and I need to take this job, and that's what it is. And he took ownership because, you know, it's the dream job he always wanted. He always wanted to be a copywriter for a baseball card company, and that's it.
Is that your dream?
That is my dream. I've done nothing to pursue it in any way, including know a single fact about baseball. But he didn't take ownership. I see a lot of weaseling on his behalf and not owning what the ramifications of this. On the other hand, I see a lot of coldness on her side, not really understanding what she's taking away from him. But I can't see her as an asshole because I feel like they're not communicating because, you know, the fact that this would have to come to divorce, there should just be a lot more, you know, you think there'd be a lot more talks and
I guess,
discussion.
But it doesn't seem like she really can't compromise, and I don't really blame her. And he has also drawn his line in the sand, so it's kind of like, all right, you can't half take a job. Like, I don't really see what else there is to do. And maybe they've talked about it, and she just didn't want to like say on Reddit like, oh, we went to therapy and blah blah blah.
It's possible, but I do think this is a couple that fundamentally disagrees on what's important. I mean, I'm reading into that there, but you know, I see a very a lot of practicality from her and a lot of impracticality from him. I mean, this is a wildly impractical choice because, and also here's the other thing I don't like about him. I think this is an insight I came to, which is it's not his dream job. It's not. It sounds like his dream job. And it may, in fact, be.
That's what I was trying to get at, where I was like, what's making him... That's what I was getting at, because it's like, oh, do you like the role? Do you like the job description? Do you like the company culture? Like, these are pretty much all elements that you can find probably elsewhere. Like, that's what I meant. It's like, why does it need to be this company?
Well, I'm not quite seeing you there. I'm more on the note of you don't know that it's your dream job till you have it. So like this is essentially quite literally a dream job, and the fact it exists as a dream. You've decided that this is now your dream job. You know, like I said, when I was given the job offer, I was looking very much forward to accepting this job, but only with time and seeing how it developed did I go, oh my God, this is my dream job, because it's a great balance of everything and there's so little pain points. And that took a lot of time to realize. Whereas, well, yeah, you're right. Like, what do you read? A job description? Oh, dream job. Dream job.
That's what I'm saying. The only, like, my job is my dream job, but that's because, like, this was a publication or a website that I had read for many years, and, like, I had applied to intern there. Like, this was literally my dream, and I was, like, stalking them for years. So I can pretty confidently say that. But, like, if all of a sudden, you know, let's say I knew that my wife had been working at Uber for as long as I'd known her, and all of a sudden I see this cool job at Lyft, like, is that really your dream job, or you just, it sounds really cool and you like it? I don't know. Yeah,
I see some delusion on his side. I guess I wanted to make one more point, though, even though I'm probably going to go NTA and he is on this, which is that, you know, I think, look, marriage is practical, you know, and it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with ending a marriage for practical reasons. Now, once you involve kids, all my rules change, all of them. So I am talking about people who are married and don't have kids. Once you have kids, you better shut the fuck up, because you better stay together for those kids. That's my opinion. Unless truly it's, you know, unless truly you can't. But that's my opinion. But at this phase, I have no judgment. I have no judgment for this.
Yeah.
If, you know, that, and all my judgment toward him is the fact that he's not taking ownership ownership over what he's doing. And he's not just saying like, look, I am choosing this job over our marriage. And that's what I don't like. But there's, you know, it's hurtful and it's mean, but like a job can transform your life. And if it really is his dream job, which I think we agree, Sarah, it's a little delusional at this phase for him to call it that.
I don't want to say delusional. I just want to say maybe a bit presumptuous or like naive.
Yes, assumptive, naive,
but he's not like straight
absolutely.
delusional.
All of
It's
these
like
things.
I think you're just getting ahead of yourself, but whatever.
Yes, you're getting way ahead of yourself. It's a pie in the sky. But like, I think that people, this is going to sound so lame, but this is what I really believe. I think there's a reason that if you look at marriage, it's basically you're a little tiny corporation. And
LLC.
Until you involve LLC and until you have kids, I think it's okay to be practical about it. You know, a lot of the commenters, to richer, poor, and sickness and health. Well, how about this? You know what's not one of the vows? Impractical or impractical. And if it's impractical, then stop practicing and get out of it. You know, like life is made of practicalities.
But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it doesn't seem like I would go no assholes here except for his shadiness. But like at the end of the day.
Yes.
They both chose their careers over each other. And I'm like, if that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to call you an asshole for it, or I'm not going to say you're in the wrong for that. Like, you know, you're two people in a union and you can do with it what you want. Like, I don't, you know?
Absolutely. And that's good. And that's freedom. And that's beautiful. Clearly, to me, they have different priorities. Money is obviously has a different role for each of them. But, you know, career is a very important part of life. Some people
Right.
find tremendous meaning in their careers or find tremendous practicality. I mean, look, making $200K a year is a really nice, you can live like a king used to, you know? I mean, you can have some fun with that. So I think we agree on this. AITA for asking my husband to turn down his dream job for my career. We're saying not the asshole, and he is not
Yes.
too. I'm saying soft, but nonetheless he is.
Yes, we were both saying that.
Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. We put a lot of time into the pod, and this is a really fast, easy, free way you can support us. Takes like 10 seconds. I know I said 30 earlier. I've been thinking about it. It's actually more like 10 because you know what? I know how fast you are on your phone. I see you. You're checking Instagram. By the way, follow me on Twitter. Holy Duck is my username.
Yep.
We'd also really appreciate
Holy
your
Duck.
support. Yeah, Holy Duck. I bought it off a guy for $50 and all my friends hate it and I'm doubling down. I'm keeping it. At Holy Duck. Follow me on Twitter.
Wait.
I will celebrate it.
Are you being serious? Whatever.
Yes.
I'll investigate another time.
Investigate another time. Guys, we'd really appreciate your support. On Patreon, we put a lot of love and time and effort into the podcast. We love our Patreon subscribers, which we now call Judge Judy's. That's fun. Haven't
Yes.
you always wanted to be Judge Judy? You can transform into Judge Judy. Patreon.com/AITA pod.
We got to get Judge Judy on the pod.
We got to get Judge Judy on the pod.
Guys, if you know her, please hit us up, join the Facebook group, and send us a lead.
AITA for telling my girlfriend's mom that if she were my age, I wouldn't date her.
Oh boy.
Met my GF's parents today. She'd been stalling for the longest time, and today I learned why. As soon as mom opened the door and said to my girlfriend with all sarcasm, "Oh wow, I can't believe you finally decided to come and see me," I knew it was going to be a long lunch. My girlfriend's mom criticized her for everything. Stand up straight, you're gonna ruin your posture. No, not like that. Now you're walking like a man. Swing your hips a little more. Never mind, keep practicing. Ugh, you'll get it. And what do you do with your hair? On and on and on and on. They wrote like 70 O's and then an N, so I sung
They
it.
did.
Her dad. Now this is the classic character in this situation. Her dad. This is such a classic dad move. Her dad just sat there in his chair. Dads always have a chair. Is there
gotta have
one
a
chair? One chair in every
Yes.
house, and it's dad's chair. Try and sit on it. As soon as he wants it, he's like, "Get out of my chair." And you get out, you know.
Basically, when
You
you
know.
become a dad at the hospital, they give you a book of corny puns and also a chair, and that's how it works.
Her dad just sat there in his chair reading his newspaper, not saying a word the entire time. I even walked up at one point to shake his hand, but he just looked at me with a blank stare, then went back to his paper. So we're sitting there having lunch, me, my GF, and her mom. Dad didn't join. And the mom starts asking me questions. So how did you meet my daughter? You look like a handsome guy. I'm sure you have beautiful girls throwing themselves at you. Why my daughter? And my girlfriend is sitting next to me with her head down, just wilting. I reach over and rub her back, and her mother says, yeah, she's always been like that. She just gets embarrassed so easily. I think she gets that from her father. They're both so quiet. The mom gets up at one point to go to the kitchen, and I lean over and whisper to my GF, do you want to go? Let's leave. But she just shakes her head and says, I'm fine. The mom gets up at one point to go to the kitchen, and I lean over and whisper to my GF, do you want to go? Let's leave. The mom gets up at one point to go to the kitchen, and I lean over and whisper to my girlfriend, do you want to go? Let's leave. But she just shakes her head and says, I'm fine, and jerked her head over to her father, who was still sitting on the chair nearby. She later told me that her father listens to everything and tells her mom later, and this is the part where everything goes to chaos. The mom comes back with some food and sets it down on the table and says, eat up. I know my daughter doesn't make food like this at your place, does she? I tried to teach her when she was younger, but you know how kids are. 1 year in, 1 year out the other. But I always told her the way to a man's heart, it's through his stomach. If you were my boyfriend, I would be making food like this for you every day. Ugh. And I said, to be honest, I wouldn't date you. Ugh. Dead silence. I didn't even know what I said for a moment because I was reaching for food. Then mom exploded. How dare you? She screeched at my GF. Are you gonna let him talk to me like that? The dad jumped out of his chair and shouted, don't talk to my wife like that. Get the hell out of my house. We left. But my GF is being attacked by her family now because the mom said she brought a guy to the house who insulted her. And I was wondering if my comment was a bit too far. AITA.
Okay, so I feel like we're going to disagree on this. However, I've got to say that this boyfriend is kind of a bit oblivious if he makes a comment that gets his girlfriend's dad enraged, gets them kicked out of the house, and only after the fact is he like, was that comment too far? Did I insult you? It's like, yeah, obviously you got kicked out of the house.
I mean, I thought the comment was kind of offensive, I guess. I mean, they got offended, but these people are insane.
I think that they are monsters. However, I also think like she wasn't asking a question. Like the comment was a little bit not necessary. I mean, it was completely not necessary.
Yeah, I guess, but it also really wasn't that big of a deal. He just said, to be honest, I wouldn't date you. I mean, that's not, you know, she's having this grotesque reaction because she's a grotesque person. Everything about this family system is grotesque and horrifying. You've got a silent father who doesn't get up to greet you and looks at you silently like a sociopath. You've got a mother who sounds like she won't stop talking, criticizes her daughter openly. I mean, these people are deeply toxic. Is what he said, you know, mildly rude, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, kind of rude. I mean, she started it and was inappropriate first by being like, if you were my boyfriend, I'd be doing this. But it's like he answered a question that wasn't even being asked. And like, how did you think that would go?
So what, Sarah? What about all the bullshit? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I guess if he was trying to keep things calm, but like these people needed to be taken down a peg. Fuck these people. Fuck this mother. Stand up straight. You're gonna ruin your posture. That's cruel. You know, she's cruel. She's a cruel mother. Swing your hips a little more.
Yeah, I agree,
She's
but I
literally criticizing her daughter for how she walks. Like, fuck this lady. And what? He's supposed to just stand there and watch it happen?
Well, he didn't really stand up for his girlfriend in a, like, constructive way. He just said something kind of snarky to the mom. And
Sarah, these are grown adults.
They've obviously been toxic for, like, a very long time. I think, like, when you're meeting the parents for the first time, like, this isn't helpful at all.
There's no helping these people. They're cooked. These people are cooked. This is who they are. And who they are fucking sucks. If you think you're going ESH on this, I'm gonna lose my shit. I mean, these people are beyond assholes. These are parents being openly, I mean, I'm ready to even say borderline abusive of her. I mean, fine to say one criticism and then, you know, give her a hug and say, oh, you know, but this mother is literally just belittling her from start to finish. Stand up straight. Now you're walking like a man. Swing your hips. She's always been like that. She just gets embarrassed. They're both so quiet because mother is this horrible, controlling, cruel woman. Fuck her big time. I wouldn't date her either.
I wouldn't date her either, but I also wouldn't say that.
If you were my boyfriend, I would be making food like this for you every day. She's fucking evil.
I would be like,
she's fucking evil.
Okay.
No, not haha, Sarah. She's fucking cruel to her daughter over and over again. And he makes one comment, to be honest, I wouldn't date you, and he's supposed to be on her level? No fucking way.
I'm not saying that they're not evil, but I just think that comment was like not helpful for anyone.
Fine if it wasn't helpful, but there's no way in God's green earth that I'm going ESH on this. No way. He made one minor comment. Saying you wouldn't date someone isn't even that mean. No way is this an ESH for me. Tar N says, you're TA because your girlfriend will suffer for that for a long time, but it was justified IMO. Really? Really? Is the girlfriend going to suffer more than having a mother that controls the father and her and just says
well, now
insult
she has
after
to
insult?
deal with like shit coming from all sides from her parents. So it's kind of like...
That's all she's ever gotten from her parents. She has a weak father and a controlling mother. I mean, what? OP said one sentence and now he said, no, give me a break. These parents are pieces of shit. Lisa F says, well, yeah, YTA, but I think mom kind of deserved it. But your girlfriend is the one caught in the middle, so she should have been your priority, not telling off her mom the first time you met her. But the thing is, it was only telling off because the mother is such a controlling B word that she would lose her shit at this comment because frankly she's a narcissist. That's what this reeks of.
You were kind of wild because like literally one episode ago you were coming at me for like calling someone evil and like using these terms, and like here you are this episode slinging the same terms. Like you just called it out a sociopath because he was quiet.
Well,
so you got like honestly pick a lane.
I will backtrack. I will reposition myself. Okay, the father I was saying acts like a sociopath. He is not. You are right. He's not a sociopath. He's controlled by her. Mom is in control. She steers the ship. And he is her little lackey who reports to her very creepily. He never stops listening. He just pretends to read the paper all day. Mother is not evil. You're right. It's not helpful to call people evil. She has a personality disorder, is what I believe about her. And her mother was probably cruel to her and mean to her. And that's why she is. She has severe trauma that she has not worked out. However, she is cooked, and this is who she is.
Interesting. I just feel like when I say someone is psycho, you get on me for like playing armchair psychologist, and you're doing it now times 10. Like now you've invented this woman's backstory with her mom.
Well, Sarah, I was saying that to make the point. That you came at me for saying that she's evil. Well, no, she's not evil. The devil isn't real. But I'm saying that there's a pattern here. This is who she is. This is not an exceptional incident. This is how she treats her daughter.
Right, and maybe that's why the daughter did not want the boyfriend to meet her parents.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, all right. Okay. That could make me shift a little bit. She had been stalling for the longest time, he says. Well, I guess if I frame it that way, but he says stalling. But I guess if you frame it that way, that he created essentially a shitstorm for her to contend with. I don't know.
I feel like he pushed his way. He like kind of pushed this meeting, and
yeah.
Like
no, you're
he
right.
didn't. It's kind of like when you're dealing with someone like that. I don't know. It's like it's not right, but also this is your first time meeting these people, and like I would personally refrain from making comments like that. Whether I thought that they were like good people or not.
The only way I could go to ESH Town is if the argument was that the sin he committed was unto his girlfriend, because it's going to create all kinds of problems for her.
Well, objectively, yeah, because it did.
Okay.
Because now she's getting attacked by her family, because I'm sure now the mom's like running her mouth to all sides of... or, you know, other people. It's not just the dad and her, I'm assuming, at this point. And so, like, now she has to contend with it on a larger scale. And now, like, the parents hate the boyfriend, and now it's like a whole fucking thing. It just sounds like it's a whole thing.
Very tough. I mean, it's very tough because I don't like this family at all. But Cameron M says, ESH, you should have respected the fact that she didn't want to bring you around them. There was a reason, and you obviously know why now. I guess. I mean, it's not like she's going to necessarily know or understand what family she's ensconced in. She just knows that they're horrible. But, you know, she might not have the kind of lingo or background, or like she might not just have an easy way to be like, hey, you know, my parents are nightmares. My mother is a monster, and she's going to constantly attack me and berate me as I enter the door, and then essentially imply that she would like to replace me because she's a superior alternative to you. She's that out of control that she will blatantly just do that, and my father will sit there in his armchair pretending to read his paper because he's a fucking useless piece of shit. But anyway, yeah, let's go meet my parents. They live in a nice neighborhood. Athena M says, NTA, but your GF will take the heat. Lindsay N, NTA, you put her emotionally abusive mother in her place. Most likely she and her father have lived with that for her whole life and not said anything. Top Reddit comment, C Perspective says, we need a justified asshole option. Was it an asshole thing to say? Obviously, was it the right thing to do? 100%. You were the hero your GF deserves, and mods decided that justified assholes fall under NTA. I don't know. You've definitely created a problem for me here, Sarah, because when I think about what his girlfriend wants, and I truly empathize with her position because her parents are human feces, that is where I am able to say, like, was this a good move for her, right? Because yes, he is a justified asshole, but I think when I start to think of the GF as the victim, that does start to push me into ESH territory, but it's very hard because these are her parents and they're so shitty. They're so openly shitty, and he made one little comment. I mean, can I get like an ESH where the ratio is like 5-1?
I mean, that's fine.
I mean, I think this is so complicated because, you know, it's tough. It's tough for her. And it's tough to know people, to be involved with someone romantically who has a family like this.
Like, to me, I mean, every time I've met someone's parents, and like my last boyfriend's mom was like abusive towards him and also hated me on impact. But it's just kind of like, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be, first of all, very meek, very respectful. And like, I mean, I personally would not like have made a snotty comment like this. And I just don't feel like it helps anything. And it's like, yeah, you stuck it to her, but did it actually, like, did you really put her in her place? Like, this woman is not now like, I don't know, reflecting. Like, if anything, you just gave her more ammo to just hate.
I think what's so hard about these situations is that when people are in a toxic family system or even have toxic friends, you know, the solution is that is very tempting is to say, oh, we'll just cut them out of your life. But it's rarely that simple. And then once obviously you get into family, you know, that's a special bond and you can't step in the way of that bond.
It's hard.
You can't. It's very, very hard. I think we have settled on a very strange agreement here. AITA for telling my girlfriend's mom that if she were my age, I wouldn't date her. I'm going ESH at a 5-1 ratio because I hate the girlfriend's mom and dad so much. But I do admit OP's sin is in fucking up his girlfriend's shit, and she's in a shit show. So, and he added more shit to the shit show. I don't deny this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ESH. I don't care to like do a ratio. They obviously suck, but his comment was unnecessary.
Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. We put a lot of time and energy and sing little tiny songs into the podcast. I'm losing my mind, clearly. We'd really appreciate if you took 30 seconds, drop into the old podcast app, throw us a rating. It means a lot. Please just do it right now. I know you ignored the other two, so please do it now. Or even go to AITApod.com and put in the submission form. Am I the asshole for already rating? Please stop telling me to rate Danny. We also have a Patreon where we put bonus episodes. We actually only need 7 more people, and we'll be doing a bonus ep every week, so that's exciting. Plus, it's a great way to support us, and we really appreciate your support. Patreon.com/AITA pod. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, listener submissions. AITA for wanting to keep a rooster in my backyard. My brother-in-law keeps a small menagerie.
Love that.
Sometimes the animals won't get along and he'll need to get rid of the troublemaker. 2 days ago, a silky rooster. Is that a type of rooster, or is he just saying it's a nice, smooth boy? I don't know. A silky rooster was on the chopping block. His neighbors complained because it would crow every morning at first light. On Monday, Snuggles, the class hedgehog, died. Wow, Sarah, we've read a lot of AITAs, and I can't recall a sentence as abrupt as this. Just out of nowhere. Monday, Snuggles, class hedgehog, dead. Good Lord, incredible.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It do. My daughter had agreed to watch it over the spring break, but they never went back to school, so we kept it. That evening, we buried Snuggles in our backyard and planted a cactus on her grave. We live in Phoenix. Oh, an Arizona listener submission. You'll love to see it, people. Tuesday, my wife got to work and found the banished rooster in her office. She brought it home on her lunch break to cheer us up. We put it in the backyard and fed it apples and walnuts. Good Lord, this rooster's eaten. The whole family awed and smiled the first time we heard it crow. It spent the rest of the day back there strutting and crowing. That's interesting. Roosters love to strut. It's true. I can see that very easily in my head. They've got an arrogance about them, the rooster.
Okay.
That evening, he hung out in the house with us. We were just calling him Chicken, but the kids thought he needed a proper name. They named him Mother Clucker.
My God.
Love it. He slept in our living room in a dog crate covered with blankets. He didn't make a noise until we woke him up. Then he started crowing, and we all fell in love. We waited till 9 a.m. to put him outside. He talked a lot for the first 5 minutes. After that, he hollered a few times an hour. Every time I hear him, it makes me so happy. Wednesday Eve was a repeat of Tuesday. This morning was the same. Mother Clucker didn't wake up until we woke him. He went outside at 9 a.m. and seemed to enjoy his day. Tonight, I was fucked out. Wow, I've never heard fucked out. Sounds terrible. I've been fucked up. Fucked out. Come on. I'm disabled with lots of pain, and sometimes all I want to do is cave in foreheads. I was having one of those nights where I'm stuck spiraling around bad feelings and feeling bad. OP, I feel you. I had to eat Chinese food because I was in such a bad place. But 4,000 calories later, and I'm in a great mood.
I'm glad. And you didn't even have to adopt a chicken.
I know, right? I know. Opie goes on. We were watching a movie. I was seething. My wife said I should hold the rooster. That's adorable. She brought him to me and put him on my lap. As soon as I touched him, my head reset. It was amazing. I felt back to normal. He spent the rest of the movie with me, and it was awesome. In the past, I've been dismissive of people's odd emotional support animals. Tonight, I realize experience is the key to belief in anything. The plan wasn't to keep the rooster for more than a couple days. He's supposed to go live on a farm tomorrow, but now I want to keep him. Holding him helped me so much. I've never had a similar experience. Now, my wife says he has to go because she's worried his crowing during the day is going to get annoying to our neighbors. I say it's not a bad noise. In fact, I think the exact opposite. I think our neighbors probably like to hear him just like I do. So am I the a-hole for wanting to keep a rooster in our cookie cutter suburban hood?
Okay, first of all, I gotta say, I love this story. It's very wholesome, very cute. Mother Clucker is a good boy. OP did deliver and drop a pic in the Facebook group. So join the group for that. That being said, I have got to say, dude, there is no way that your neighbors are going to like to hear this rooster.
100%. I mean, he's also come to probably the worst group of people for this because, you know, as New Yorkers, we hate a noisy neighbor. Oh boy, is there
True.
anything worse?
Unless it's me, and then my noise is obviously justified. But yeah.
Obviously, Sarah's doing yoga. Can you calm down, neighbors below her who left her a letter?
God,
it was
right?
exercise.
Fuck those people.
Relax.
Except it was even worse because they accused me of, quote, moving my furniture. First of all, yes, I was packing to move, but I wasn't doing it during the quiet hours. And I was like, imagine having the gall to tell me when I can and cannot move my furniture in my own apartment that I pay for that does not violate any terms in my lease. Anyway.
Wow, litigator Sarah showed up. Look,
Yep.
I think when I really break this down, Kristen O writes, YTA, I've been the neighbor. They do not like hearing him.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, and I love that you have these warm and fuzzy feelings for this rooster, but I can truly promise you that your neighbors are not going to feel the same way.
Yep. And I think people need to be neighborly. I think that I also, you know, I have a new appreciation. Actually, one of our Patreon listeners was texting me. I got to follow up with her about a noisy neighbor with a yappy dog, you know, and the dog's yapping all
annoying.
day. And, you know, a rooster's really no different than a dog. I say put a shock collar on the son of a gun and let's see if Pavlov is right. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
know if Pavlov tested the old chickens. And I've talked to a dog expert on this, my good friend Ronnie Fleming, who has we have a podcast called The Goat, a biography podcast. Tiny plug there. Ronnie is a dog expert, and I said, Ronnie, is the old shock collar cruel? You know, and he goes, no, not at all. He goes, the dog gets zapped 3, maybe 4 times, and it gets the message, and it doesn't yap, and that's that.
That's good to know.
Pavlov straight up killing it. And so I don't know if you could put a shock collar on a rooster. I know that I'd pay to watch a video of that happening,
I don't think that's really the answer either, because like that's roosters' thing. They crow when the sun comes up. That's their whole thing. That's the one fact I know about roosters. Like, I don't think the solution is to try to force a rooster to be an animal he's not.
It does seem key to their essence. That's
right?
really what a rooster do. That's their whole point. Like, that's like, but a dog is loving, right? A dog's MO isn't to bark. It likes to bark, but it also likes to hang and play catch. It's got all these other things, but you're right. The rooster, he roosts, babe. I mean, they strut. They strut.
They strut.
But what's he gonna do? Strut all day? Strut when the sun comes up? I think it's a real toughie.
It just seems a little cruel to not let him cluck or roost, or that's not roost. That's not the right word. You know what I mean?
Crow. A rooster crows.
There we go.
It's very paradoxical.
That's true. Why aren't they called crows?
Why? Yeah, a crow should crow, but no, a rooster crows. It's a confusing world out there, birds. Nico S says, NTA for now. Just be aware that if you get a complaint, you'll need to address it or then be the asshole. See, I'm against that. I think that's a very tempting idea here, but then you got to put a person in a position where they have to complain. And guys, not everyone's Danny Vega who calls Delta customer service 3 times a week to check in and make sure that, Patty, who I talked to 2 weeks ago, is good for her word. Not everyone wants to do that. You should be empathetic toward your neighbors, and you should be proactive. I mean, if you want to do that, I could be open to that. You go to your neighbors, you say, hey, I got the old rooster. His name's Mother Clucker. He'd love to meet you. And, if he bothers you, I want to know, and I want to see if we can make this work. That, to me, is reasonable. But just waiting until they complain, that's a dick move.
No, especially because, like, his sample size for this little experiment is 2 days, and that's not enough to say that he's going to be a good boy and never crow at the crack of dawn.
Right. Well, no. And, I mean, he's also annoying during the day. They make noise during the day, and it's like... No, that's rude. Like, if your dog is barking all day, you need to get that shit on log, bro. Like, if your dog is barking every now and again, or barking when a loud truck goes by, whatever, fine. But yeah, you got to be a little bit proactive on this shit. Like, they're your neighbors, they're in your space, they're close to you. Like, don't wait for them to complain. What are you, a piece of shit?
Too far. I don't want to call the submitter a piece of shit.
No, well, submitter didn't do anything. He's asking if he would be the asshole. I think, like, if you're going to let a rooster run around and make noise in an admittedly cookie-cutter suburban neighborhood, you need to be proactive and go out there.
You know why,
you
Danny?
Can't just...
Because
what?
If he just waits for them to go out, if he waits for the neighbors to complain, that is internalized unassertiveness.
Okay, yeah, I mean...
That's not, you're being too passive, and that's not really fair to like put the onus when you kind of know deep down that you're possibly already in the wrong before you begin.
Of course. It is internalized unassertiveness. Or wait, are you trying to push back and say that it's not an asshole move?
No, I'm saying the problem with it is that it's internalized unassertiveness.
Okay, yeah, no, it absolutely is.
All right.
I mean, well, you got to give people a heads up. And he writes, no assholes here. I think the biggest thing that will drive this decision is county laws regarding farm animals in your neighborhood. If you're allowed to, then great. No.
Yeah, I'm going to say just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think I feel like I've been saying this a lot this pandemic.
Well, it's like, look, are you really going to litigate this? Is this going to be Mother Clucker versus the state of Arizona?
Oh, hell yeah.
Give me
I will
a
pay
break.
To spectate in that trial.
Boy.
Put me
the true
in
crime
the jury
girls
box.
here.
Yep.
No, listen, you gotta be aware. Obviously, if you can hear it through the walls, I mean, I don't know anything about roosters, but I'm imagining that it crows essentially all day and it doesn't shut the hell up.
Roosters are super annoying. I will say one time I like stayed on a kibbutz with like a bunch of like peacocks and roosters and like probably chickens, and I did not sleep the entire time. Those motherfuckers are so annoying from like before the sun even comes up constantly. And peacocks, very annoying.
Sarah B writes, I hesitate to call you an asshole, but no, dude, you can't keep a rooster as a pet in your home. If you do, you will be one. Now, OP posted an update along with the old pic. Mother Clucker went to his new home on the farm this afternoon. I cried, which I find hilarious.
Aww.
He's got a nice big yard and a bunch of hens to look after. I'm welcome to visit him anytime. Best part, they're going to let me have a hen from their first hatch. Even better, my wife does not know. That'll probably be another AITA request for clarity in a couple months. Well, we can't wait to hear it, Submitter. We're happy.
Oh, I love that. He like learned a very small lesson, but then didn't seem to apply it.
Well, so a rooster is a male chicken, so he's getting a hen, which is a female chicken.
But hens, like, you know,
Okay.
don't. They definitely cluck, but they're not like cock-a-doodle-doo at the crack of dawn.
And hens don't strut, though. You lose the strutting. I mean, it's tough. I think this is tough because I think part of maybe why the rooster is a powerful animal. I respect a rooster. I don't even know why, because I feel like it could kick its ass, but it's got a, you know what it has? Swag. The rooster has swag.
Wow. Why does a crow not crow, and does a rooster have swag?
It's a mystery. It truly is. Bottom line, folks, I think we agree on this. AITA for wanting to keep a rooster in my backyard. Well, you're not an asshole for wanting it, but if you were to do it and not be proactive, which you didn't since you gave it away, you were reasonable. But yes, you would have been. If the question is, would I be the asshole for keeping a rooster in my backyard, I think we would agree YTA.
It would be YWBTA.
Yes, there you go. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We love you, and we'll see you next Monday morning.
Bye.